our first dinner with the mayor and the mayor's boss. And our first guest is Simba, a big up and coming artist on the rise. Moved from Jamaica to Mount Vernon, where he discovered his passion and craft of just making music, making something fresh, making something live. But you know, we about to have some great eats here at Jungle Restaurant, a new restaurant opened by a millennial and family, and we're very happy that they welcomed us in here tonight to receive us and have our first launch of Dinner with the Mayor and his boss. And bottom line is, I'm excited that we get to chat it up. Got some essential water, you know, something that's going to keep us healthy and happy, but more importantly, we're going to learn something new. So, Simba, tell us a little bit about the name. Where did the name come from?
It's great that you mentioned that, because Lion King, they just released like the trailer and everything. It looks really dope.
So your hits on social may be like off the hook right now.
You know, I might be getting sued soon from Lion King. Everybody try to take the name from me.
Nah, they don't know. This is one of the originals.
Yeah, so like aside from that, man, like the name Simba, it's like, and I tell people all the time, right, and I tell the story so much, it's like, if you look at a lot of the Disney movies, they'll teach you a life lesson. And it's so crazy how they do it in like a cartoon form. It's so entertaining that a lot of these kids, they learn the lesson, and then you have grown folks that miss the whole entire thing because they're like, oh, it's just a cartoon. You know, if you take that whole movie, you see how he was told, like, hey, you're king, you're bred into this, you're born to be king. You know what I mean? And then it went from you're born to be king to stripped of the title, to not even of royal blood anymore, you know? And the whole story, you see how he perseveres and he overcomes all the hurdles that are put in front of him. So for me, like, I really like gravitated towards that whole concept, because in life nothing is like perfect, nothing's just like a steady stream down. You know, there's some bumps, there's some corners, there's some turns, there's ups, there's downs, and it's like he overcame all of that. And you see how he fought, he trained, and he worked. You know what I mean? And that's why I tell people, you can have a dream, but you have to work for it. You can't just stay dreaming. Somewhere, some point, labor has to be put into it. So for me, I really try to like embody the name and that work ethic. Like, hey, if you're meant to be, it's not a matter of when. It's a matter that you are, and it's the steps to take to finally come to that realization of what you are. You know, so that's how the long story, and it also stands for simple intellect makes the boy amazing.
Simple intellect makes the boy amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta say that twice. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, Simba.
Yeah. Like
are you? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. You went from Jamaica to Mount Vernon.
Man.
You brought this spirit of leadership.
Yeah, I tried.
This lion heart.
Yeah.
Selassie I.
See,
all in the eye. I got it.
Oh, you a rapper? No, I didn't know it's Chief Keef with now.
That's his second career, you know.
I did not know.
You should hear what he listens to.
we can switch roles if you want.
Look, man. Listen, you know, I need a side hustle, right? We can make music, we can make beats. I'm telling you. You know, I just learned from the streets.
That's cool, man. That's the same here, man. So like for me, basically, it's like you said, I came from Jamaica, right?
Yep.
And it's like completely different. And I tell people the story, they don't believe me. Like in Jamaica, I was raising like cows, chickens. Like my father was teaching me how to do certain things like that.
Hard work, values, strong work ethic. When you in the country, you come to the urban jungle restaurant, which is great food right here on Grand Street in Fleetwood, Mount Vernon. Just want to be clear that you're hearing the story. I just want to amplify that.
Yes,
hard work, raised on a farm. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So like basically like it was just like I grew up doing a lot of like hands-on kind of things. So when I came to America, it was like completely radical, right? Because
when did you come?
When I was about like 7, I think. I think it was my 7th birthday. Yeah, and I've
so
never.
Before you were 7, you were already doing
work.
Yeah. Jamaicans don't play, man. You guys saw. I came out with the shovel in my hand in the seeds playing this, you know. For me, so like when I came here, like, and I went to like I think it was Stop and Shop. I was like, they got food in the stores. that's preserved. I was like, what's going on here? Because I'm used to like the marketplace where
Yes.
you see like you walking through the streets and everybody saying the old, and I buy from the old people because I'm like they old. The young people, y'all can work for it. They old, they get a little, oh, I'm gonna help them. You know what I mean? So like, even like things like that was for me, it's just like eye-opening. You know, and the first place I actually came was White Plains, and I spent maybe a year in White Plains before I came here to Mount Vernon. So basically, I grew up in Mount Vernon, like money earning in Mount Vernon. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just like once I came here, it's just like it was kind of nuts. You know what I mean? Because the things you see, it forces you to grow up kind of fast, and it makes you a lot. And I tell people, it's like there's different types of communities. Every community has its strength, and every community has like its negativity. But as long as you focus on negativity, your spectrum will always be negative. You'll never see anything positive because your main source of data is all that negativity that you're focusing on. So for me, it's just like I focus on all the positive things in the town. You know what I mean? Like basketball, like the music programs. Like I actually was playing the violin. I sucked at it. My dad teach. I couldn't learn. But like, you know,
You were not passionate about that subject.
No.
And then therefore you went to something else.
Exactly.
But at least with violin, you learned something.
Yeah.
You realized you had an awakening
Yeah.
that wasn't for you.
I was like, I'm
And
bad
then what
at this.
happened?
I was like, I'm bad at this. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try basketball. Shout out Coach Simino. I didn't make the team though. Jump shot wasn't that good.
You know, coach always says you ain't that good, you ain't bigger than the team. But coach is coach. I mean, nothing but love for Coach Simino.
That's true. Nothing but love, man. Oh, they brought the food out.
The food's here.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
man, hang on. Here go the food. Check this out. Look.
Oh, they got the plantain.
Yeah.
That's how non-Jamaican people say plantains.
How do you say it?
Jamaican people say plantain.
Oh, plantain. Yes.
But,
You can say plátano.
see, what was it? I forgot. See, I
You
got
talking
that
about
back.
Coach Simino? You didn't make the team.
Oh yeah. Jump shot wasn't that good, right?
Jump
So
shot
then-
wasn't that good. I know the feeling.
So then for me, it was just like, all right, what am I good at? And I searched for a lot of things. But not only what am I good at, once I found what I was good at, I found out I loved it. You know what I mean? So ever since then, I couldn't imagine my life without it. You know, because when you're making music, it's tough. I'll tell people it's like one of the toughest careers out there. It's probably even more tougher than like basketball or president, only because it's like so much fluctuation with music. It's so competitive, and every day it's like there's a new artist that you're hearing about. And it's like you're constantly pushing. And it just teaches you again, like just how to persevere and like how to incorporate different things into your music. So a big part of my music, I try to tell my life story, but I try to also influence people through what I've seen. You know what I mean? So I tell people a lot of times, Mount Vernon made me.
So tell me about Mount Vernon made you.
Mount Vernon made me because it made me a fighter. You know what I mean? It made me in the sense that what you want, you have to get it. Nobody brings it to you and say, hey, these are your life goals.
Yeah, you gotta go get
He
it.
did it for you. You know, Mount Vernon is like, if you want it, you have to get it. It teaches you how to be real street smart. And I tell people a lot of times, you don't need to go to college to be somebody of intellect. The street can teach you. The world can teach you. The experiences can teach you. You know, so Mount Vernon, it has so much intellect in it that a lot of times people miss it because they focus on the negativity. But I'm focusing on like the positive aspects of what's going on. You know, so just the experiences in general, going to high school, middle school, elementary school, all the stories and everything made me who I am. And it's like, I like who I am now, so I couldn't be like, I wish I was never from Mount Vernon. No matter what happens, because I like who I am, I like my family, I like who they are, and I like my friends. You know, so that's what I mean by maybe. And I hang out with, you wouldn't say the cool kids, don't be mad. You know, we wasn't cool back in high school. I was a little cooler than the rest of y'all, but for me, man, it's just like I hung out with the people that was like hitting the books. And then I was like,
wait a minute, I hit the book, so I don't know what you're talking about. All the kids that hit the books are cool.
oh yeah, you're right.
We all
I
good.
take that back. Y'all cool, because in a few years y'all don't have jobs, so that's good. And that's the main difference, man. Like, a lot of people will gravitate towards the materialistic things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the shoes, the expensive book bags. A book bag's a book bag. You're going to put your books in it, and that's it. The shoes, you're going to walk to school, and that's it, whatever it is. So, like, my friends were all focused on, like, oh, the highest grade here, SATs, all these kind of things. And I used to think it was silly. But then I hung out with them, and it's like, you know, when you're with friends that are doing really good, you don't want to be the one friend that's
Exactly.
here. So you're like, okay, what can I do? So I'm
drop
over
you
here.
real fast.
Yeah.
Step it up.
I'm like reading books. It came to the point where I had the audiobooks playing while I'm in the shower, just so I could hear it. I'm just like, all right, because I know the test is tomorrow. My boy not gonna let me cheat, so I had to do this hard work, you know. So it's just like it just teaches you a lot of things, you know. Teaches you. The main thing is street smarts, recognizing different situations and like good, bad, and different things like that.
Well, one of the things you said was Mount Vernon made you a fighter. Tell me about the fight, because like you said, you came from Jamaica in Mount Vernon, and from 7 to fast forward to today. And I think one of the things that's interesting about becoming a fighter is that you already came with a fighting spirit, hard work ethic, from working on a farm. So if you could just talk to us a little bit about that, you know, that shock of coming from farm life to urban/suburban life, but still get that fight.
Alright, so one thing, it was like a little farm. It wasn't like, because you know, you say farm, people thinking like the tractor trailers. No, it wasn't. I had like a little house, you know what I mean?
On the prairie down south.
But like, yeah, it makes you a fighter, you know what I mean?
But a lot of brothers and sisters, or small, big family, small family, like.
Yeah, I have. Man, I'm not making it up. I have 9 brothers and sisters. So in total, it's 10 of us.
How many brothers? How many sisters?
So I have, and I always miscount. I think I got 5 brothers, 4 sisters. So I have 5 brothers, 4 sisters, and then so 6 boys, 4 girls. Right. But like, yeah.
Where are you? Where do you fall?
I'm the last.
Oh, you're the youngest?
Yeah, I'm the last. And the funny thing is, my brothers and sisters will be like, oh, he was that accident that happened one night, you know what I mean? But then my mom and my dad will be like, oh, the rest of them, they the prototypes, you the final product. You know what I mean? So it's like...
And listen, when you have 9, you definitely were not an accident. They knew what they were doing by the time came around.
Maybe number 1 was that.
That's no
2, 3, 4, that's practice.
Yes. By the time the 10th, you're the 10th. Definitely not.
No wonder why the Lion King right here.
Yeah, and what's even crazier is I have 54 nieces and nephews.
Wow.
So Christmas time is gonna hurt my pocket. You know,
No, it's not about material things. It's about experience.
No, I take them to like roller skating, and it's like you said, it's more the time. Because when I was a youth, I remember the time that me and my father spent. I can't remember the games and stuff that he bought me.
The new Lego set. You don't
Yeah, I don't remember none of it. I don't even remember what I ate this morning, to be honest. Like,
I'm eating some plantain.
Don't shoot no guns in there. Boop, boop, because everybody does that. When you say you're Jamaican, I'm like, boop, boop, you know what I mean? But, yeah, man, just like you said, it just makes you a fighter. And Mount Vernon just teaches you how to be really privy to certain situations. And it develops who you are as a person, and it builds character. Because you have to be kind of tough, because the world is not a soft place. So when you step out into the world, it's like, you have to step out with your chest up and your back straight. You gotta be like, I'm ready to take on what's to come. And because I've seen so much at a younger age that people haven't seen, like when certain situations come my way, I'm just like, I already know how to handle it. You know what I mean? Even if I don't know how to handle it, I can handle it not under pressure, but cool, calm, and collected.
Now, I got some pressure. We gotta order some dinner. We gotta eat. Now, this is amazing, by the way. So
You ordered wings, right?
I did order one.
Yes, they come.
You trying to get me on a
No, they're made
diet?
to order.
I thought you were trying to say I was
They
trying
say the best for
no, it's alright. Yeah, exactly.
You know, just the right things to say, huh?
But I figured we should order that way, you know, because I'm going through this, and I know if you want one, please
Long
take
story
one.
short, he's real hungry. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes.
He's trying to.
You know, where in Mount Vernon, you know, were you? Were you over by City Hall? Were you over near, 590 East 3rd Street? Where were you in Mount Vernon when you came and started really, discovering the fight and how to persevere and endure the fight?
I was probably where did I live first? I used to live next to by where Best Buy is, right by State
Memorial Field.
Yeah, right by Memorial Field. I used to go there all the time too.
How old were you when Memorial Field closed?
I was
10 years ago, by the way.
That was 10 years ago?
Yeah.
How old am I now? I was
How old are
probably
you
like
now?
like probably 10. 10, I was probably, it was 10 years ago, I was like 10, 11. I was 11 when it closed. And I used to go there all the time.
You're a baby.
See, that's
Remember when we were?
He was 11 years old
Okay,
when Memorial Field closed.
so you're 21 now? Or you're 20?
I'm 21, but I'm 22, about to be 20.
Oh, okay. So when is your birthday?
December 7th.
Oh, you're a Sagittarius.
Yes, that's good, right?
Our son is a Sagittarius.
Oh, so it gotta be good.
It's a good thing.
But
But
normally we can say it's a good but
you guys just beat to the march of your own drum.
yeah.
You beat to your own drum.
But it's good though, cause what I tell people is like, for me, it's like I put myself in a situation where I have to have my own, because I hate getting up and somebody's like, oh, do this.
Yes, I was gonna say, like, if you guys are not passionate about it,
Yeah.
it's
Forget
not
about it.
going to happen.
It doesn't work. That's why
Cannot force you to do anything.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
I
Tell my mom.
admire that.
She
I
goes through
admire
the same
that.
thing with me all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so and like I said, that in itself is like willpower.
Yes.
And a lot of times you can be in an environment, and it's more so if you're not really strong-headed with your own set goals and how you're gonna do it, you get sidetracked by the outside sources of what's going on. So like, even though people hate Sagittarius and love them at the same time, I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't. No hate.
No, not hate, but
you
People
guys are
just
not.
don't understand the power of a fire sign.
yeah, I'm crazy, and I can admit it.
You guys are, you know, you're not like moldable into the common.
No.
Like, get up, do what everyone is
Make your
supposed
own
to.
way.
Yeah.
You just pave your own way and do
Yeah.
your own thing, and it's very admirable because at the end of the day, you're doing what usually makes you happy. So
Yeah, I can't agree anymore.
that's the most important thing in life.
A lot of times I can be stubborn, but then it's like you have to take a step back and realize that maybe a different aspect will work,
Maybe.
you know. And then you try it, and if it works, you say, okay, you're right. Or if it don't work, I was right. You know, I was right. That's why next time, if I say no, then, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's cool, you know. People say it's stubborn, but I wouldn't say I'm stubborn, because if I realize something may be good to try it, I'll try it, even if it's outside of my way. But the main reason is because if I can control the whole aspect of the situation, right? If something goes wrong, I have no problem in taking ownership for it. But if there's like too much components in there and I can't control those components, now when something goes wrong, it's like, all right, I know I did right. It's because of so and so, you know. So it leaves room for error when there's so much things going on. So much things,
Unavoidable.
But if I do, I'm like, okay, I know what I did wrong and I can change it. But I can't change somebody else's actions. I can only change mine. And like you said, if you don't want it, it won't just come to you. You know, it'll hurt you doing it because you're not passionate about it.
Well, let's talk about passion for a moment. And I'm just thinking about music. I want to go to that moment after sports and workout, the violin.
Well, it was violin first, then it was basketball, then what happened?
I did it all.
You did it all?
Basketball,
That's good.
football, tennis. I even tried golf. Shout out Tiger Woods.
Mount Vernon.
I tried a lot of things. I even tried swimming. I'm not a strong swimmer. You know? But like for me, it's just like I always loved music. And a big part of why I didn't say, oh, it's like my main thing is because a lot of times when you're growing up, people are like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. You know, not a lot of people say, hey, I want to be an artist, I want to be this, I want to be that. Because sometimes it's the stigma, you know.
We are doing wonderful.
Love it.
Thank you so much.
He's looking for his wings though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're coming.
They're coming.
Look
Look at
they
that.
are.
Speak of the
Oh
devil,
my gosh.
it was worth the wait.
I think
They look delicious.
they were supposed to be for me. The wings are supposed to be
Yeah, I
for
can't
me.
eat all these. I'm supposed to be on a diet. This guy got me on camera, deviating from my
You
diet.
know that the camera makes you look 10 pounds heavier than you are.
What?
Yeah, those.
Hold on, let
Yes.
me take this jacket off.
That's something that supposedly camera
Burn
people
it.
say, right?
But now these wings look like.
Oh, no.
No, it's just for the camera. All right, thank you.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna eat all those wings.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I better off.
I was like, look, once I saw this, I'm like, I'm eating. Like, forget the niceties, forget the formalities. It's been a long day, and this is actually my first meal of the day. Now, where are you from in Jamaica now?
I'm not from Kingston, because every time you say where you from, everyone's like Kingston. Yeah, that's
where you from.
I'm from St. Catherine.
St. Catherine, all right,
Spanish town, that type.
Because that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna go right to St. Catherine. They're gonna go to St. They're gonna go there and be like, Simba is up in Mount Vernon tasting rum punch, and you gotta make sure that he rep for the home parish, because if he ain't repping, I just want to make sure you know the pressure's on now.
How you know that word parish?
My mom's from Barbados. So he has a little clue about the Caribbean.
Oh, okay. Not everybody says that.
I love my wife, but she's giving herself a little bit too much credit right now.
Yeah, okay.
I love my mother-in-law even more. I'm throwing drink with
So
you.
how did you learn about parish then?
Remember, I was a golf caddy at 10.
You caddied for a lot of Caribbean people.
I caddied. I caddied with.
Oh, with.
A lot of people that help, expand my view. Jamaicans, Dominicans, and a
so
lot of
he
people.
knew the word parish before me. He met me when we were 18. So
the most special thing ever. We've been together for
That's only like what, 4 years from me right now?
No.
It's like 4 years from what age I'm at right now.
No.
No.
Oh my gosh.
We met.
We are old.
We met in the year. We met.
I feel old.
We met in the year 2000.
Yes.
And we've been together ever since.
Y2K. When everything was supposed to like crash and burn.
It probably did, but we didn't notice.
I probably did.
Well, it definitely did in 2016 when the presidential election happened, nonetheless. But
Oh gosh, was that 2016 already?
big up to our country. So here we go.
Big up to
Big up to our
America.
country. Make America
Magnificent,
yeah.
like Mount Vernon. But now, real talk, we've been together for 18 years.
That's good.
Married for 8.
That's long. See, and that's dope, because the institution of marriage right now, it's like falling shambles, if you ask me. But then again, it's like the teachings,
It's too much of that Tinder,
Yeah.
fast-paced social media, DMing me pictures of whatever.
I have no idea about that.
See, I don't know about that, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, but that's what happens, and it's just like a fast-forward relationship, dating world scene, and no one.
So
You just click.
we literally hooked up right before Facebook.
No, well,
Yeah, right before Facebook. Facebook came out in 2002.
are you sure?
Yep.
We were halfway through college when Facebook came
Yep.
out? That's frightening.
Yep.
Really? I remember having it.
And I remember
in
trying to make
college.
Facebook, but I didn't have any friends that were like into tech. I tried to make it.
I remember
they missed me
having
in the movie.
Facebook in college, but I can't remember.
I was
if it
on. We were on
freshman year.
MySpace.
Yes,
Tom.
MySpace.
Tom was my only friend on MySpace.
Oh my god.
Because you probably got it when it was like it was over.
Yeah.
Remember when you would click
I was
on
late.
it?
I
Yeah.
was late. You know what I mean? Yeah, you
You
click
would
it
click
and
on
it's
it and it was
like.
music. And it would be music.
Oh, I was talking about the dollar.
Oh,
I was talking
that,
about back in those days.
Jeez, that was
When you
high
see the
school
running
days
man,
for us, yeah.
I'm over here, I'm gonna try to go on AIM. My mom needs to use the phone.
Yes.
You know, it was tough, man.
That was high school days for us.
Yep.
Going
My mom
into
like,
the
anybody
days.
call from, no man.
Nope.
You're instant messengering.
Ain't get no calls in 14 hours, man. Think they you gave us the wrong number.
Is not working.
So, oh no, we were saying that after you went through all of these different activities, swimming didn't jive with you, then you eventually got to
Yeah, it's not that swimming didn't jive with me. I almost drowned a few times.
What kind of swimming lessons were you taking?
I didn't take no lessons, you know.
Oh,
You jumped in.
I just jumped in. I was like, my brother's like, look, just jump and just paddle. You gonna learn. I jumped in. I wasn't learning. I the lifeguard looked at me. She's like, "You can swim." I was like, "I can't swim." She's like, "So why'd you jump?" I don't know, you know. So she's like, she had like the little floaty, and she throws the floaty out, and then the floaty lands over there, and I'm over here, and she's like, "Swim to the floaty." I was like, "I can't swim." You gotta come get me. Yeah, she was upset. That was my 8th grade class trip at the Holiday Hills, and it was like everybody there. I was like, "How am I gonna play this off?" So I got out of the pool, and I'm like, "I'm gonna just limp. I'm gonna act like my leg cramped up." So I'm like limping around the pool. I jumped back into like the shallow side where I could like my feet could touch it, you know. So
And you were like, "Oh my
yeah. I was like, "Yeah, I can't swim." But for me, the music was like, it was like a big life changer because it's like everything that I wanted to talk about, I could say on the music, on the beat, on the track, whatever it is. And it's like, it's different because like when I'm in that space, it's like my own. I own it. You know what I mean? And it's always good to have your own kind of space because sometimes you need to escape from reality. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can be a lot. You know, people go through things, but you need to have that kind of safe haven where nothing can touch you, where you're like invulnerable. So for me, when I'm making music, like I'm invulnerable. I'm Muhammad Ali. I'm Mike Tyson. I'm Bob Marley. I'm whoever I want to be. But more importantly, I get to be me. You know, in its truest form, it's like I don't have to worry about the outside, and it's always good because like it's so like dope that I can make something that could like reach somebody in like Africa and England and so on in Asia. You know what I mean? And that's how powerful music is. And for me, it's like I've been listening to like a lot of Bob Marley. And like in his music, he has like such deep messages in his music that it captured me. And it's like, yo, I wanna talk to people, but I don't want to be a politician. I want to do it in an entertaining way, you know. So that's why I picked the music. Cause yeah, I mean, no, not knocking you here, cause you're probably a much better speaker than me.
No.
I'm not that good of a speaker. I'm a little wild. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make the music, so that way I can be wild in the music. I won't have to be as sharp and as polished. You know, so that's why like music for me, it's like a big part of my life. Cause I tell people, they're like, oh, it's a hobby, and I say, no, it's not a hobby, it's a career. You know, cause I've invested time, I've invested money, and it's who I am. Cause if you take it away, I don't think I can live without it. You know, like one of my biggest fears, people say, what's your biggest fears? And I was like, to go deaf. For me personally, cause it's like when I hear music, when I hear a beat, it's like every day. Since I can remember, I've always listened to music. Like, there's never a day where I don't listen to some type of music. You know, and a big influence of mine is like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Nas, Biggie, Pac, Heavy D. Shout out Heavy D because he's from Mount Vernon. You know what I mean? And it's just like, for me, it's just dope because like I can capture an audience, especially when I go on stage and I'm just like, it is dope because I'll be like, 1, 2, 3, everybody say yeah, and everybody's like yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just like on the street, you say yeah, get out of here, who are you? You know what I mean? So that's for me. That's why I love music so much, you know, because it really does make me happy. Like that's my joy. It's not the money, it's not anything of that. It's just I just love doing it. You know what I mean?
So music. People out there watching, where can they find your music? Where can they hear it? And what can they expect when they hear it?
You can hear it on all platforms. Just iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere where you can find music. Probably even MySpace you can find it. And you can just expect like an overall good feeling. I call my music good vibe because I'm not a rapper.
I was gonna say what genre.
Yeah, what genre? Yeah.
So that's my genre, like good vibes.
Good vibes.
Yeah, it's not because a rapper is confined to be a rapper.
Right.
You're listening to a rapper's song, you're like, okay, what are they gonna rap about? A singer is confined to being a singer. It's like, what is he gonna sing about? Me, depending on what type of beat I hear, it can inspire different things out of me. You know, for example, so I have a song called You Know, and the song is like, you know that I love you. Oh yeah. You know that I want you. And in the song, I'm like screaming in the song, so I'm not like typically singing it. And for me, it's just like, for me, like if I'm with a girl, right? And not knocking any females, I love all you guys, right? And it's like Monday, they're like, babe, do you love me? Then Tuesday comes, like, babe, you still love me from yesterday? Then Wednesday comes, and for me, that was kind of a song.
I was late on
Women
Tuesday.
ask that all the time, yeah. Like if Yeah, all the time. So for me, it was just like I feel like a lot of times like people can have
So hold on, pause
insecurities.
for 1 second. If I don't hang up the phone and say I love you, she be like, you didn't say I love you. So
No, I have never said that. I don't ask you if you love
no,
me.
you
I
said
know that you do.
no. When you don't hear me say it, you be like, what's up with that?
No, I would say,
You call
like,
back.
oh, you hung
you
up
forgot
without
something?
saying- That's because he's been saying it for 18 years. So.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait
Well,
a minute.
yeah,
just,
18 years.
Just
That's
to
right.
this point right
Said
here, she was like, "Do girls still ask that?" Yes, you do every day.
No, I don't. I don't say, do you
no,
love
not
me?
every day. No, because I say it. I know that I gotta. It's not.
You gotta
I
say
have
it.
to. I mean it. And I say it, but when I don't, because I'm dealing with some nonsense or foolishness at work,
I don't think you've ever not said it.
there you go. You see?
That's what I said.
That's
to you.
because I know my priorities.
He likes living. He likes living.
Yeah, but just like that, it's just like, for
So I
example,
already know.
it's like, for example, I had a girl, and then I would say, if she would be like, I love you, and I'd be like, love you too, and she'd be like,
You didn't say
what you mean,
I.
love you too? You gotta say, I love you, and I was like, oh, my bad, I love you.
No,
So,
it's like when you say, like, oh my gosh, people will say, I love you, and then the person will say, me too.
oh no,
Like,
you
what
can't
is
say
me too? Oh yeah.
At least if you say love you too, you in the clear.
Love you too is totally acceptable.
Okay,
But
okay.
me too, yes.
See,
I've had to check people on that.
yeah, but like in that song, it's like I took like a funky kind of like James Brown approach. It's like you know that I love you. Oh yeah, you know that I want you, and it's like an emphatic love song in the sense that you don't have to ask me I love you. I love you, and I'm gonna tell you I love you. If I have to scream it from the top of my lungs, like yo, I love you. So that's what that approach to that song was. And then I have a song that I recently put out, and it's called Phone Line, where I'm actually more singing. And it's about that, like how you described that typical relationship in society where it's like, it just transitions way too fast. You know, and it's like a lot of times people neglect the good times and they'll, like I said, focus on the negatives. But that song's more like, you know what, it's better, like people say, it's better to have loved and lost it than never have loved at all. So that's what that approach for that song is, you know. And then I have one other song that I really like because I talk a lot about Mount Vernon in the song, and it's called God's Gift, and it's in the sense that you just have to appreciate everything that you have, you know, and it's just about persevering because in the song, and it's about history as well. But again, it's how you teach history. You can sit here and be like, 1985, stuff like that. But for me, I was just like, forget a 9 to 5 because they trying to slave us. Police looking at us because they think we're doing something wrong, and it's more so addressing like the negative stereotypes. Like, hey, but with all that being said, like I am who I am, and I'm black, and I like being black. You know what I mean? Because that's all I know. Not that I like being black. I love being black. I'm proud of my skin. I'm proud of who I am. My hair, my big nose. Like, cause I love the big nose. Girls want my lips now. You know, they do the lip cup challenge, trying to get bigger lips. You know. But for me, that's what that song like imposes on the person. Like, yo, you're great. Love yourself. You know. So one is mellow. One is like really high paced. So it's just like I take you through the phases of life. And the phases of like relationships and through different songs. It's just a whole mixture of stuff. That's why I say good vibes. But when you hear it, it's like you feel good. That's what I aim for. I aim for feel good music. You know, because like I said, I listen to like a lot of Bob Marley, Barris Hammond, because I'm Jamaican. You forced to listen to that on Sunday mornings.
Got to.
You know what I mean?
Got to.
But yeah, that
I heard
is so
he's playing in Mount Vernon, by the way.
Yeah? Don't tell my dad, because then he going to drag me with him. And
You gotta go. Gotta be a good singer.
Yeah, I heard he's gonna be here this spring.
He gonna try to make me pay
watch
for the
out.
tickets. You gotta pay for the tickets. I'm your son.
You want to go to the concert. So is that what you would say that sets you apart from most other up-and-coming artists? The fact that you're like more good vibes and you're not like typecast into a certain type of...
Yeah, it's a certain mold. And it's funny you said that earlier, that you can't be combined into a mold.
Right.
But what sets me aside from everybody else is I'm me. You know what I mean? You can't produce another person like, you know, there is no other. Like, unless you were to clone me, even the clone wouldn't compare to me. And in the
Well,
sense
actually
that...
they would.
Yeah, I'll still be a little different. You know what I mean? I'll still be, if I had a twin, you know what I mean? Like, I'll still be a little different.
It'll be known.
Yeah, it's just leans on my mindset and how I approach it. Because for me, music isn't a hobby; it's a career, it's a business for me. And not only is it a business, it's a passion and it's a love. And I look at it like I can change my life, but more bigger than my life, I can change my family's life, I can change the people in my community's life, and so on, so on, so on. Like one of my biggest things is like how LeBron James, he built a basketball, he built a school. I want to build a school like, you know what I mean? Not just so I can say, oh, my name's on it, so I can, like a state-of-the-art school for the kids so they can go to school. Oh, this is dope. Like, you see these lockers, you scan your fingerprint together. That's, you know what I mean? I want stuff like that for, because I never had it. So I want people beyond me in my community to have those things, you know, because I used to play basketball at Hartley Park, and then they redid the park, and I was like, yo, this is dope. You know, it's always good to see those things in your community. Now, it's of value to you, you know, and you know that you're appreciated when you see those things. The basketball courts, they redid the, what's that thing with the water, that sprouts up in the center?
Oh,
Yeah, that thing. Really, things like that is just really dope.
But what about with young people today? You know, I think about young people a lot. I got a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old. We have a lot of kids in this city that you're talking about. You grew up here, having to fight, having to get through some situations. But one of those situations is Memorial Field been closed when you were just about 11 years old. So you got a whole generation of kids that just don't even know what Memorial Field is. So I guess my question is, the young people, tell me a little bit about your thoughts about what they're facing now and what should be done to make them better.
In my, if I were to say so myself, you need stuff like that. You know what I mean? You need those activities. Because if I wasn't in that first violin class, I don't think it would lead me to where I am. It's not the bigger grand things in life that make you who you are. It's the little things. It's the little things. Because every little thing leads to a bigger thing, and it transitions. So you need basketball courts, because half my memories are made on the basketball court. You know what I mean? You need Memorial Field. I went to JPD, that's Junior Players Development for like the NFL, and it's like you get the gear, you get the helmet, and you like, yo, you feel like you're a football player. You know what I mean? You are, but you're not like Odell Beckham, but you're still a football player. And it's good because it makes you aspire to be great. You know what I mean? And especially when you have so much talent. There's so much talent in Mount Vernon, like when it comes to basketball, football, track, field, no matter what it is, soccer, there's so much talent. Like, I used to take my little nephew to go play, there was a soccer field around here, and for some reason they turned it into a parking lot. And I'm like, oh, you turn a soccer field into a parking lot? That doesn't make sense. You know, people can park on the streets. The kids can't play soccer in the street. You know, so stuff like that, for me, it's like, it's very crucial. And a lot of times people get so focused on themselves and their own goals, but they don't realize we survive as a whole. No one being is individual. You know, and it's about making a better community, because if the community is better, everything in the community starts thriving. You know, it's like when you have this plant. You dirty water, the plant's not going to grow to its full potential. You change the water, now the plant grows, now the water's better, everything is better. And that's my whole philosophy. It's just like the youth is going to dictate the future. You know, because at one point, not so long ago, you guys were young, you know.
We were young.
I don't know old man's name.
When we were young.
And the things that you learn as a child now influence you to be who you are now, to where now you're the one changing the future. You know? Oh, thank you.
That looks nice.
See, you even get your chicken. You got him talking so much. But no more, he gonna eat that.
Oh, I'm gonna tell my mom I bought it for her.
She's gonna say you brought me 3 pieces.
It's full, mama. It's full. But yeah, like that's very crucial. That's very crucial and it's needed.
Thank you. So good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Maybe I should have got rice.
Would you like a side?
Well, that's very healthy for you. And romaine lettuce is no longer on the recall, so you're good.
Oh, thank you for telling me that.
I'll bring you a side of rice.
Oh,
It'll be right out there, okay?
no rice for me.
Or you have some more space. So,
but yeah, like you need that stuff.
So, what would you say? You know, like, so young people, right? And this is where I get caught up with who's really paying attention. You saw what happened in Florida at Stone and Douglas with that young maniac. Misguided, but still a maniac. Went in and shot up his school and allegedly his friends. And what gets me is those young people tried to change. They tried to change the dynamic of Florida. And what happened? They went, and the Florida State Senate told them, hold up. And then they went ahead and kept pushing, which is good. But young people, for some reason, seem to get the stiff arm from some of their elders. Now, one observation I want to make is when we went to the African American Museum of History, and God bless the food, by the way, none of us blessed it, so God bless the food and the hands that made it, very briefly.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, look, we gotta make sure that's part of the next show, right up front. We just jump right in because we know that we were in the jungle restaurant. We're ready to just hunt and eat. So, but real talk though, I think that it's written. The civil rights era, same thing happened. It wasn't like there was kumbaya and everybody got along. The NAACP pushed out Martin Luther King, and he had to go and form the Southern Leadership Conference, the young people, and then that was not radical enough for Stokely Carmichael and a few of the other groups out there. So you just got to know this friction and tension between the ages always existed. But I just want to amplify that right now, while we may have some major flashpoints. Young people not winning some of these battles in the war for the future, they may feel discouraged because they're like, man, we did all this organizing, we did all this stuff, and we didn't win. So my question is, what should those young people be doing right now? I mean, look, I have an idea. They should be learning from how they lost so they don't win.
Yeah.
I mean, so they win the next time. But my question is, where are those young people, and what you think they should be doing to make sure they win the next time?
Well, the first thing I would say is, quoting the great Jay-Z, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. You know, and a lot of times people get so caught up on winning and losing that they forget every situation teaches you something.
Well, they lost in Florida.
They lost.
They lost again with the governor's race and some other key races. And so that's what I'm pointing out. They lost. And that's why I'm just like, what are we going to do as young people to make sure that the future includes us?
Yeah, so I feel right now they're learning what not to do and what to do and how to approach a situation a different way. You know, you come from one angle, you realize that angle doesn't work. You don't keep going from that angle. You have to switch your approach. You know, and it's kind of crazy because it's a generational thing that's taught to the elders that, hey, don't listen to those kids. They're young. You know what I mean? They're younger than me, so that means my point holds more validity than them. But what I feel is the young people are more in touch with what's going on, and they're more likely affected by what's going on in the society. Just what, like you said, what happened in that school. God rest all those innocent souls.
Right.
And it's up to the youth to change it, but a lot of times it can be resistance, like you said, and friction from the higher up, because they're saying, no, our model has worked so far, so long. Why change it? And a lot of people are resistant to change. And once you can't change, or once you're unwilling to change, you can't grow. That's the definition of like not growing. Because if you want to grow, you have to change. You have to learn. You have to evolve. Yeah, exactly. You have to evolve. You know, so honestly, what I would say is just to keep on pushing. You know,
keep on pushing.
You knock on one door, you keep knocking, you keep knocking, you keep knocking. Because the minute you stop is when you've lost. Because a loss, you can't really accept a loss. You don't really have a loss till you accept that you lost. even though that sounds a little crazy when I said it, but it's just more so. A time somebody loses is not when somebody say, "Hey, you lost." No,
It's when they give up.
it's when they give up. That's the only time you truly lose. You know, and I tell people all the time, I wasn't around during the civil rights era or the Huey era and anything like that. But it's more so, it's like, if they said, you know what, I lost the first time, so I'm gonna just stop. I'm just gonna chill at home and take my L in peace. Then we wouldn't be where we are today.
It's true.
And that's how I look at every approach, because my grandma grew up here and she went through a lot of the same struggles. And my grandma's of Jewish descent as well. So for her, it's like she was like, yo, like the Jewish people don't really mess with me. The white people don't mess with me. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's just like she would tell me, but like every day she got up and she's like, yo, as long as God got me, I'm good. And as long as God got me, I'm gonna keep working. You know, because you're never gonna do something right the first time. It's like when you ride a bicycle. To learn how to ride a bike, you have to fall off. Because you're learning what not to do. You're learning how to approach the situation differently. And that's what I would say they need to do. It's just more so you just find different ways to approach the situation. You learn and you grow. You're young now, you grow a little bit more, you're more knowledgeable. You gain wisdom as you go through these different experiences.
So you mean to tell me that young people should be patient?
It's always about patience.
Okay.
It's always about patience, and it's always about timing. You know what I mean? And again, the work. You have to work. You have to push. You have to keep going. And if you look at a lot of these changes in the political views, even in history, even in other countries, a lot of them were led by younger revolution. For example, Cuba. Cuba right now is governed by a lot of people of younger ages because they face friction, just like the kids here face. They face friction when they said, "Hey, we want to do this." No. So now they change it with this. There has to be a certain amount of women in politics. There has to be a certain amount of people of age in politics, and that's how it is. And if they had one point said, "You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to relax," they wouldn't be where they are now. So you have to be willing to learn and grow and get knocked down to get back up.
So I do want to come back to the question of young people and what they can do to make a difference, or what should they do to make a difference besides not giving up and learning lessons. That's the question. What should they do?
What should young people do?
You have to get more involved in politics. Not in the sense of knowing what's going on, but also being a part of the people who are making the decisions.
Okay.
Because if you're in that fray, now you hold some validity. You know, you have some type of say-so. And if you want to change what's going on, you have to now be a part of it. So more in the sense, not only just going to Congress, not have somebody represent you guys that you elect that'll stand for your goals and your morals. Even if you don't want to be there yourself, you don't want to delegate those type of duties, go there, have a representative, have somebody that you can vote for, that you can say, you know what, they stand by what we stand by, and we believe they can make a change. You know what I mean? And I feel like that in itself is a step. Because everything is small increments, everything is a step towards a bigger goal. You never just jump to the finish line. It's little steps that get you where you need to go. So, excuse me, I think that's the main thing. Just having somebody in politics that you feel represents you and your goals. And also, like I said, just planning how you're gonna make that change. And plan like every little detail, from down to like the mayor's office, to the senate, to the so on. Plan every little detail, because that leads to your end goal. And like I said, the main thing just keep on going, just keep on pushing. Like Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's just how it is.
Good.
Yeah.
But what if you don't know the details? What if you are just stumbling, falling, rising, getting up, not allowing, the unfair life to keep you down. You keep trying, but what if you don't know the way?
If you don't know the way, that's different, I feel, than not knowing at all. Because ignorance in itself will always lead to your defeat. You have to, again, read, just be knowledgeable of the situation, of the different acts, of the different ways to get something done. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you can see like in politics that there's all these little loopholes that gets one thing done or gets something else done. For example, when people would say, "Hey, Obama had the most presidential vetoes ever than any other president," okay, you have a House, all Republican. You have a Senate, all Republican. You had 5 Supreme Court judges, primarily Republicans. So what do you expect to happen? You know what I mean? So in that sense, it's
You have to arm yourself
yeah.
with the knowledge.
You have to arm
So
yourself
know
with
what
the
you're up
knowledge of
against.
what's going on. Yeah. Know where you stand before you make your first step. That's what I feel. You can step off, but you don't know where you stand. You fall. But if you know what's going on, you see your surroundings. You can stand. You can walk. You know. So that's for me the main thing. It's just all about who we elect into those offices. Because later on, they're going to be the people voting for who the president should be. Which is, we're not going to talk about that because
So
I told all
not
my friends I was
knowing
moving to Canada, but I didn't.
Oh, okay, that's our next move. Maybe not Canada. No.
Yeah, it's too cold.
It's cold up there.
Shout out my cousins.
So not knowing the way is not an excuse.
Excuses are, by the definition of the word, excuses. If you fail, don't be ashamed to say, I failed. Don't be ashamed to say, I don't know. And that's the society we live in, where people are scared and they feel ashamed to say, I don't know something. I was always a kid, if I don't know, I'm going to say, hey, I don't know. You know why? Because I want to know. I want to have that knowledge. You know, I love knowing stuff. You know, like, I watch, my little nephew watches a cartoon when I was younger, Phineas and Ferb.
Yes.
And through watching that cartoon, I know what an aglet is. I don't even know I never knew what an aglet was before. So, an aglet is like the little clear tip of the shoelace that holds the lace together, that allows you to loop it. And even something as simple as that can spark a conversation. So it all just goes back to the knowledge, you know. And the main thing I would say is like just reading up on politics and the different roles. And I went to college, and my major was actually political science and history, and also my minors were pre-law and business. So I did a lot of reading on politics, different philosophers, different governmental structures, how basically everything works, and it makes me more knowledgeable of what's going on. You make a hasty decision, or you get the impression that the media feeds you, because there's all different news outlets, but they all phrase their information differently, and they'll all side with one particular side based on how they report it and what they report. That's why I tell people, instead of going into CNN alone and watching just CNN, watch CNN, watch CBS, watch Fox News, watch everything. So now you can make an informed decision. You know, it's like when you have a book and you look at the cover, you're like, this is not good.
Yeah, I know.
Then you look at the back, you're like, the back kind of good. And then you're like, you know what, let me just read the whole book.
Yes.
And then you make, you know what I mean? And that's how I feel it is, just all knowledge. Knowledge is power. And even like back in the days, like people said, knowledge was valued. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they opened school because of what they knew and what people wanted to learn from them. They weren't selling any product. They weren't selling cars. They were saying, hey, Galileo, the world is not a rectangle. It's a circle. Perpetual motion. Gravity keeps the water here. It's just all about knowing. And like I said, just learning and growing and growing. That's what's going to lead to change. Everything. Anything you can think about. Agricultural, the different parts of government, how they work, how they function, and really like dissecting the situation.
So,
Let him eat, Rich.
No, go ahead. I like the questions. People think I'm a rapper. I got my education too.
I'm taking it all in. I'm taking it all in, and the good thing is Simba is eating, but Simba's also roaring, dropping some knowledge, giving some perspective, providing some wisdom across the ages, and I'm just wondering, you know, what is that person out there? You know, what are they thinking about? They see us having this good vibe, this good conversation, this good exchange. But my question is, what are you going to do to make it better? What are you going to do with this conversation right here to change the situation, be it in your neighborhood or in your community? and how you can take some of this and apply it. And I can point to, right here in Mount Vernon, we want to make it better. It's definitely not satisfied. We want to make it better.
Going to make it better.
But the question is, what partners are going to come to the table to help do it?
Basically, this is the way I put it, right? Every way that I can find to help my community, I do so. Habitat for Humanity, there was like abandoned fields, abandoned buildings. We painted the buildings, we planted, we weeded up the fields, we planted plants. Aside from that, I was a part of the DARE program, the Spider program. I worked with Hamilton Elementary, where I helped tutor the youth. My grandmother is a big part of the WJCS, Western Jewish Community Services, and
They're great.
and it's just all about, no matter how small you may think something is, you can change somebody's life. So for me, like, I went to Domino's the other day, even though I shouldn't be eating pizza, and there was one of my students that I mentored, and for me, that's where it starts, at the youth, in elementary school, whatever school, and I told her, I was like, listen, I'm proud of you because you're working, you have a job, you're not on the streets walking around doing nothing, you have a job, you're not just hanging out. And it's so cool that when you can see that you made a change in somebody's life that leads them to a better situation, it's cool, it's dope, and that's what I pride myself on, doing things for the good of doing things. So, because I know sooner or later, that little girl's gonna do something great. And the other kids that I mentored and tutored are going to do something great. Not because of me, but because I try to instill into them that same fighting spirit I have. Like, hey, you can do it. And every little thing that you do counts. Planting trees, painting, whatever building, tutoring, no matter what you do, it counts. It counts towards the end goal. It's like voting. Every little vote counts. You might say, hey, it doesn't matter, but it does.
It does.
So honestly, that's what like I said, I want to do.
It all adds up.
I want to do a lot.
Little things are big things. There are no little things.
There's no little things.
I got it.
And I want to do a lot. Like right now, like I said, my main goals is to just like improve the schools, and I want to build like a state-of-the-art like basketball court. Like I got some plans. In a few years, those plans I can bring into fruition.
So let's bring it full circle. And let's talk music. So let's talk to us about, what is Simba working on now, and what is Simba seeking for people to receive from what you're working on right now?
So I actually just put out some music, and the title of the album is called "This Is Only the Beginning." And the main thing for me was I drew towards the name because it's just like, this is where it starts. So no matter, a lot of times people say, oh, I want to be great, I want to be this. No, just do it. And know that you may not be world famous in two days, three weeks, 2 years, but you have to start from something. So that's why I named the project This Is Only the Beginning, to let people know, I know I'm bound for greatness, and this is where it starts. These are just little steps, like I said, to a big end goal. And in that, basically, I just talk about my family life, everything I've seen, just putting in the time, working, and just always persevering. Because the first quote from the album says, I put in all this time, it wasn't recognized. But I'm so ill with death, I fraternize. Don't need pills, because I'm dope enough. I said, I want to know, enough ain't enough. And it's more so saying, it's like, yeah, put the time in, and it may not happen. And I'm frustrated, you can see that. And it's good that people can say, hey, he's frustrated too, but he's not stopping, he's not quitting, he just keeps going. And then I have certain songs like The Come Up, about just going through everything and learning and gaining knowledge as you step, as you grow. Good Love, which is like a big Jamaican influence for me. It's just, I just, like I said, I try to teach through the music in an entertaining way,
Well, as you
So
teach,
is it streaming on Tidal?
Yes,
Spotify.
Spotify, United Masters is my distribution company. I recently just like inked some things into paper with them. But yeah, like Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, anywhere where you can find music is gonna be there. You know, and no matter what dreams you have, take a business approach to it. Because that's how you start. No matter if you're 12, 13, 14, take a business. The other day I saw some kids and they were selling lemonade. And they were like, oh, I was like, how much is lemonade? The little girl was like, it's $1 for this one, $2 for this one, $3 for this one. I was like, you know what, here's $5. And she's like, which one? I was like, no, I just want to support your business. I'm not saying I don't know how good the lemonade is, you know, but I was like, here's $5.
To make sure that she got the support. And that's
I
what
want
it takes.
that she knows like there's people behind you, and that's what it is. Like a lot of times you can do something that you may feel you'll never accomplish, but when you look behind you and you don't see anybody, you may walk, you may, you know what I mean, you welter a little because you don't see anybody.
Right.
And now you see people standing behind you, you're like, you know what, I got this, I got this. And my guidance counselor, well, she wasn't my guidance counselor, Miss Williams, which was like
Miss Williams.
Miss Williams. I love Miss Williams. Miss Williams changed my
Me
life.
too.
Yeah.
Miss Williams changed a lot of people.
Yeah, shout out Miss Williams.
Shout out Miss
Peggy
Williams.
Williams.
Peggy Williams.
Miss Carpus, science teacher. There's a lot. Mr. Jones, my history teacher. See, yeah, but it's like those teachers, they changed my life and so on and so on.
Yeah, Miss Peggy Williams was my guidance.
Yeah.
Miss Peggy Williams, Miss Smith, and a lot of great people.
Yeah.
Miss Donna Marable, Donna Taylor at the time. So all these people, these teachers, they plant these seeds. And they spread and they grow and they become the agents of change that our community needs. So as we wrap up this
lovely dinner,
delicious, amazing food that makes you just want to go to sleep now because it's just like
You don't have the energy to hit the person next to you?
no.
she's like, I'm charged up.
Nah, this is exactly what I needed right now. But the conversation was also food for the soul. So I guess my question is, you know, what do we leave out? I know we talked about family. I know we talked about fun. I know we talked about a little bit about faith. I know we talked a little bit about the future.
Yeah.
That's
So
what the F's. Family, faith, fun. Did we say anything fun?
in the future.
Future.
Yeah.
Well, fun is music. Fun is
Well, yeah, fun.
fun is the conversation. Fun is make sure
Family,
parks come back to life.
faith,
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So tell me what's next. What is Simba gonna do next? This is only the beginning.
Yeah, and we just gotta get better from where we were yesterday. You know, learn something new, keep on stepping, and just grow. And then you'll be all good. And keep an open mind. As tough as it may be, even for me, that I like things done my way. I always try to keep an open mind. And overall, I just want to let people know, like, whatever dreams, whatever goals you have, it can happen. And it's a very cliche statement that people say, if you want it, the only thing in your way is you. But at the end of the day, you really realize it's only you. It's only you. And one of the biggest examples I use is Oprah was fired from her job. I think they said 24, and she was like, "What am I gonna do?" Like, and it's just like mind blowing because if Oprah never was fired from her job,
Yeah,
who's
she
to
would
say
have
she
never
would
been
be
over.
where she is?
Yeah.
You know, because even Martin Luther King, he said the true testament of a man is where he stands, not in a place of comfort, but in a place where his back is against the wall, when he's under pressure. And that's what it is, and that's what makes it. Because pressure can either make somebody or break somebody. But overall, I just want to let people know, like, you're great. You know what I mean? If anybody tells you otherwise, forget that. If your mama says, "Hey, I love you," you're great. Yeah, she loves you. You're great. You are great. She's not just telling you to tell you. Your teacher said, Miss Peggy said, "Hey, you're great." You know what I mean? You're gonna be great. Do great things, and then you start telling yourself, "You know what? I'm great." And it's not about being cocky. It's about being confident.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Confident, humble, and just persevere and keep on pushing. Because as long as you're growing from where you were yesterday, you're never losing. You're just learning. You're learning new lessons, and you're just making progress. You know what I mean? Like, to all the kids out there, the young ones that people say, "Hey, maybe you can't do this." Maybe I'm gonna tell you, you can. You can do it. You know, and just overall, that's what I want people to know. That's what I want people to feel like. Because when you truly believe it, now you can persevere, now you can grow. You know, and it's great to know. And I love everybody. People don't say it, especially guys. Guys are scared to say like, I love. Like I tell my brother, I love you. You know what I mean? I tell my nephews, I love you. I tell my nieces, I love you. People I just meet, like my friends, I'll be like, hey, I love you. I have love for you. You know what I mean? Overall, that's what I want people to leave off on.
Well, it
Just
sounds like,
feeling love, just being
you
great.
could be a little stingy on the I love yous. Or at least on the eyes.
You're going to get me in hot water. only the people I really love. If I just met you yesterday, I kind of know a lot. I ain't going to lie to you. But, yeah.
Well, look, all I can tell you is that we learned a lot, and we're going to keep learning. And I can't wait to keep having these conversations around good people with good vibes and great food. So as we wrap up this conversation and wrap up this meal, you know, are there any pearls of wisdom, any closing comments?
You said so many pearls of wisdom.
I think we got.
Oh, you gotta get me on Arts and Third because I was unable to do that a few times because I was just always moving.
Well, look, we got it. Look, we got City Fest. We got Arts on 3rd, Arts on 4th. We got Summer
Arts
Breeze.
everywhere.
We got the Winter Wonderland. We ready. So whenever you're ready to perform, we'll give you a platform.
I'll perform right here. I'm always ready. Give me the camera. But thank y'all for having me to this lovely dinner. You know, it's not every day I eat salmon with the man and his lovely wife. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Look, it's about the future.
Yes, sir.
This is only the beginning.
If you ever need a backup dancer, you can tag ours. No, not me.
I thought you were gonna say him.
No, not him either. But a fellow Sagittarian, our son, is an awesome dancer. He's very artistic in that way.
And you say he's 6?
Yeah.
He'll be 6.
She's gonna pull up her phone right now. We're
On
gonna
the
show
4th.
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
We're gonna show you how he moves. I don't know if you can handle it though. But tell everybody where they can find you online and how they can learn more about you.
On Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, MySpace, Twitter. Yeah, I don't know who uses MySpace anymore. It's TheRealSimba.
Real Simba.
And that's a real because I'm the only Simba you know, and I'm right here, so I'm really in front of you. It's all my music is on there. All the ladies watching this, hey, Mama, I love you. Papa, I made it. Miss Richards told me I wouldn't do it, but look at me now.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us for this dinner with the mayor and his boss and Simba for this great conversation about what we're doing to make Mount Vernon magnificent and move forward.